Very good, friends. Hi, Doc South here. I just wanted to do a video blurb for Memorial Day coming up, Memorial Day weekend. When this time of year hits, I like doing what I can to honor those who have served, be it rescue, fire, of course, soldiers, police, anyone that's up to something, sacrificing a bit, putting themselves on the line to help others. And I'm sure there's other things, other ways to serve as well. Maybe there's people that go out and get stories, in dangerous areas, etc. There's many things people can do to serve. It's not just being a civic servant. There's many things. Myself, I like, I consider my service to have been when I worked for a rescue squad, and now putting out these shows and stories, trying to always make them of a positive nature, something that kind of shows the better side of life, if I can. That's what I'm trying to do. It isn't always the most popular thing to pull, but I like doing it. And yeah, so that's what I do. Well, here, I got a story. This one of a tale of my father. He was a pilot during World War II. He flew Corsairs. Corsair was a very fast fighter plane, kind of an inverted gull wing, big engine in front. Think, they were very, very rough planes. He did not get into combat. His squadron was next, and the war ended. Probably lucky for him, as he would have probably been involved with the battle for Japan, and that could have been tough. Real quick, because this was funny. I remember, well, of course, my father has passed away. Now it's about 15 years ago, and always miss him. But I remember one day, it was, let me think, probably about 30 years ago. 25 to 30 years ago. He's he gets a letter from the governor of New Jersey. Yeah, the governor of New Jersey, telling him that he's being recalled as a pilot to serve in the New Jersey Air National Guard, and would he please report for duty in 2 months, something like that. Please clear up his affairs and report. At that time, I think he was 70 years old. He wrote back. He wrote the governor and said, "Dear whoever the governor was, I don't know who it was." He said, "I'll be glad to serve, but I hope you understand. I'm 70 years old now, but I'd like to fly. If you guys want me to do it, sure. Hey, And he got a letter back saying, "Thank you, sir. We'll think about it." Words to that effect. And yeah. But I could still see him. He wanted to get the darn thing framed. Yeah. Oh, my heavens. So, yeah, I guess once a pilot, always a pilot. He probably would have loved it. Oh, is this a jet? Oh, cool. I can see the glint in his eye. Oh, my. Oh, bless his heart. Anyway, here, a story. One of my father's favorite things to do. For my most recent birthday, my wife Sandy gave me an old plastic model airplane. Some kid a long time ago must have spent a rainy, cloudy day putting it together. I used to do the same thing. Once it was done, that kid, just like me, would fly it around the house in his bedroom for an imaginary test flight. Sooner or later, he or I, we'd stick it on a dresser or a windowsill and, just kind of look at it. And this particular model that Sandy got me was a Marine Corps Corsair fighter plane. The gull-winged, it's sort of an inverted gull-winged fighter from World War II. My father used to fly them. He was never in combat, but he was ready. The war ended before he went off to an actual theater of war. From what I can gather from his stories, he was a very good pilot, and God, he loved Corsairs. Oh, I figured I'd put the Corsair model on the shelf at the rear of my control booth at the Chatterbox. I thought it might be a nice way to honor my father's memory. I ran the idea past Don Hall, the manager of the Chatterbox. I don't even know why I thought I had to ask. The second I showed the model to Don, he reached out to hold it and started to look it over. He said he had a special tool to clean the plastic and make it look like new. Some of the propeller was broken. Don thought he could fix it with spare parts he had laying around. I could go on forever. In simple words, the plane has a home on the shelf there at the Chatterbox forever. As Don was turning the model plane over in his hands and digging the landing gear, I saw a chance to tell him one of the things my father loved most while flying. Corsairs had a power rating of about 1,800 horsepower. Top speed, I think, was a bit over 400 miles an hour. The darn things could really bug out, and that's that. My father told me how he always liked to fly over Texas. There was a kind of cloud formation, that developed over the plains. From above the formation, it looked like fresh fallen snow had fallen, but it was just this big flat cloud. Sometimes it would stretch for 100 miles or more, and it was perfectly flat. I can still hear my father saying how he and his squadron would ease their planes into the cloud till all but the pilots' heads and a little bit of propeller and rudder were visible. The rest of the aircraft was hidden in the mist. The cloud was thick enough to make the plane invisible. The pilots would get themselves into a side-by-side formation fairly close to one another, and then they'd just gun the throttle. Pretty soon there'd be four heads mowing just above the cloud surface at about 400 miles an hour. He said it gave you the real feel of the speed the Corsair could hit. He said it was like being on this super fast sled. If he maintained that speed, he'd do 100 miles in 15 minutes. That didn't quite make sense to me, but in kid terms, well, he pointed out that we could be at Grandma's house just north of Pittsburgh from New Jersey in about an hour. That I could understand, and I was impressed. Now that I'm older, I think of that sort of flying as approaching a kind of out-of-body experience. Four heads flying at top speed through the clouds. Man, that's the real stuff of angels. My father is an angel now. At least, well, maybe he's an apprentice angel, if not quite the real thing. He probably still has to work off some of those crap games he got into back on Earth, just outside the base. It shouldn't be much longer now. He'll get his full wings when he turns over his lucky dice. A fat chance of that. I can see when my time finally comes, we meet again. I say, "You still got your lucky dice?" "Yeah, I don't have my wings, do I?" "Yeah, okay." He says, "That's all right. They let me hang out." "Yeah, okay, good." Yeah. Still, on certain days when it looks like the clouds are just right, I can't help but wonder if he's found some of his old flying friends. I like to think they're up there just horsing around in the mist. But this time it's real, and no one dies. Huh? Yeah. Cool. Anyway, God bless, friends. We'll see you later, and thank those who serve. All right? We'll see you later. Bye now.